in our day-to-day life, we do the exact opposite. We get all of our movement from here, we get too much movement from here, and from our scapulas, and from the base of our neck, and that's where everybody has issues. We get disc bulges at C6, C7, disc bulges at L4, L5, L5, S1. We get knee ligament injuries, right? We get plantar fasciitis of the arch. It's because all the stable joints are doing the job for all of the stiff joints, right? Everybody has stiff thoracic spine, stiff shoulders, stiff ankles, stiff wrists, and so then the knees, the elbows, the low back, and the neck have to make up for that. Okay? So stabilize the joints that are supposed to be stable, mobilize the ones that are supposed to be mobile. You'll solve a lot of problems, first of all. Then everything is connected, right? It's all one body, right? So you might have a chronic low back issue. What does everybody do? We focus everything on the low back. We're gonna do lots and lots of low back rehab, right? But that problem is probably coming from one of the other joints, and it's just manifesting as a low back issue. I kind of analogize it like the plumbing in a building, right? The water has to flow smoothly through all of the pipes, right? But you might get a clog in one room. That increases the pressure on the whole system, and then the pipes burst wherever it's weakest. Right? For most people, the pipes burst here, but the clog is somewhere else. Right? It might be that my ankle is super stiff, so when I go to squat, I can't go down, and so then I have to round my low back, and I end up with a low back issue, but it's because the ankles are stiff. Right? So you got to consider everything in the body, figure out what's not working well, and that's probably the cause of where the pain is. Does that make sense?
Of course.
What else?
For more information, Dominican Republic, take the address, pay the man, go there, and take a nice 1-month course. Yeah.
Everything also comes down to your breathing. It's a really good lesson as well. So your body is kind of laid out as like a hot air balloon. Before I explain, who thinks that they have like an anterior pelvic tilt or scoliosis or misalignment, bad posture? Yeah, a lot of people. Okay, so this is like a hot air balloon. This is the balloon. This is the basket. Okay, so if the balloon is not filled 360 degrees how it should be, then the basket tips in some way or another. Right? So we get anterior pelvic tilt. It's because we're not inflating here how we're supposed to. Okay? Generally, yoga teaches that we're supposed to put all of our air into our belly. That's wrong from a scientific perspective. From a chronic perspective, it's correct, but it causes a shit ton of physical issues for people. Because you breathe into your belly, and it puts you into this posture, right? It's extreme anterior pelvic tilt, rib flare, and compression of your low back, right? Your lungs are up here, not down here. This is supposed to expand in all directions, and that's what keeps the pelvis stable. It's what keeps your posture and your alignment, is from this being inflated in all directions. One of the things that we really lose is the ability to breathe into our back ribs, right? Because we get in this posture and we only know how to breathe into our belly, we lose the ability to breathe into these back ribs, and that's what keeps us stuck in this posture, compressing our low back. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah. Okay, come on to all fours. Tabletop. And like the scapular push-ups that we showed yesterday, you're going to press the ground away, rounding your shoulders, and hold there. And now try to inhale into the space between your shoulder blades, not into your belly. Feel the ribs between your shoulders inflate. On your exhale, draw your belly in, feel your abs. Inhale, feel your back ribs open up. Continue to press the ground away, round your shoulders, breathe into your back ribs. The better you can do that the fewer low back injuries you'll have, the fewer neck and shoulder injuries you'll have. You can relax for a second. Everybody feel that?
Not really.
That's why your neck hurts. I can.
Just feel the back expand.
You want to feel separation of these ribs here. You want to feel the balloon inflate here. Right? That's getting air out of here and putting it here. Right? Which gets you out of this position, and then you fill this to help maintain it. Could most people feel that?
Is this an exercise that is you have to practice or just?
Yeah. Yeah, we get so used to putting air here that all of this gets really compressed because it never moves. Right? And so it's a process of building core strength to stabilize this and then using your breath to open this back up so that you can restore your posture. There's lots of additional exercises to teach that. We could do another one if you want.
Yeah, why not?
Do we have enough yoga blocks for everybody to have one? This is a really good secret, and we'll like bring in a lot of principles from yoga. We'll tie a lot of things together, hopefully. Just one yoga block for everybody, and then come into a child's pose. This will probably help a lot of people's hip issues and maybe low back. Everybody have a yoga block? Alright, come into a child's pose. Just feel what it feels like without the block first. Get a sense of what your hips feel like. What your low back feels like. Maybe what your knees feel like. Maybe just get a sense of what the before picture of your child's pose is right here. Maybe take 2 or 3 breaths and see what your breath feels like. Where is the air going? What's moving when you breathe? And then come back up for a second. I'll show you what we're going to do. You're going to take your block in your left hip flexor to start. And so you're going to come down like this. And you're basically going to be like an anaconda or like a boa constrictor to this block. Okay, so you're going to exhale and squeeze down into it. And then stay tight as you breathe in. The natural instinct is you're going to try to breathe in and you're going to come away from the block. Try to resist that. Stay tight and try to direct your air into your back ribs. Feel the same thing you felt before. Okay, so it's going to look like blow the air out of your belly. Squeeze tight. Inhale into your back ribs. You can kind of round your shoulder blades as well. Continue that for like 6 or 8 breaths. So every exhale you squeeze tighter. The inhales you stay squeezed tight to that block and put your air into your back ribs. Don't let your inhale push you away from the block. You want to feel your abs and your hip flexor turned on a lot. Blowing all your air out. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Inhale into the back ribs. Maybe like 2 more breaths. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Feel your abs. Get all your air out on the exhale. Inhale into the back ribs. Sit up for a second. Pop the block out of there and then sit back into your child's pose. Feel the difference between the left and right hip. I'm hearing a lot of Hakeem. So maybe we have a little more space in our
Chuck now. Chuck has taken over.
Maybe we have a little more space in our hip. You notice that? Yeah, so we're creating more space to hip flex. All right, it's the same thing when you go into a forward fold. That movement should come from your hips flexing before it comes from your spine. Right? We go into a forward fold, we get everything from our spine. Right? We're making things that are supposed to be stable do all the movement, and things that are supposed to be mobile don't move at all. Right? We're going to learn to flex from our hips first, right? Sending the butt backwards like Anmol is doing on the wall. so that you can protect and not put all the load here before you forward fold. So it's the same thing, like in a forward fold, you could do this standing too, is to be here and work on that hip flexion. Does that make sense? Okay, hit the other side so you're balanced.
What is your view on the lateral breaths?
Yeah, that's another really big thing. Like you could do lots of different versions of this.
In normal breathing,
Yeah.
yoga also says that abdominal breaths is causing this thing. Do these lateral breaths. So
Yeah.
that is legit.
For sure. Yeah, your rib cage should expand in all directions. Like your armpits, your shoulder blades, under your collarbones should expand. Anywhere that you can't expand into is going to cause issues somewhere else. Squeeze, like, let me hear you guys blow out. Exhale harder. Inhale into the back ribs. Round this way. Maybe your arms back by your legs. So that this can open and then inhale into here. Yeah, nice. Good. Feel that expansion. Same thing for you. Go arms down by your legs. So that this can open and then inhale into here. You'll feel like this opening. Active, squeeze it tight like you're an anaconda choking the life out of that block. Inhale into your back ribs. Feel this. Maybe go arms down by your legs. So that this can just. Yeah, you're getting here too. Like feel that expansion. Yep, right there. You feel that? Do the same thing here.
This is something that you also can practice to
Yeah.
weekly or
When someone has acute pain, I will have them do this every day. This specifically, yeah.
for a person that is going to get some relief,
Yeah.
like get ready as well.
That lower core strength you feel, that compression, is what will open up your hamstring.
For example, if I say that I want to have problems with the forward fold,
Yeah.
so to start this will
Same thing. You could like take that same principle into your forward fold. Come here, like relax the knees so it's not super stressful, and then same thing. Squeeze. Inhale to open the back ribs, and then progressively straighten, but don't lose the squeeze.
It's gonna make a picture, it's the max.
You can all do it right now too if you want. Did you check the after picture of your child's pose? Does it feel different?
Yeah.
Nice. Same thing, like take that same idea into your forward fold or into all of your yoga poses really. Like you want to feel that compression, like that active squeeze as if the yoga block was there. It'll open up all of your folds. Cool. Is that helpful? Questions? Thoughts?
What's your background?
I'm licensed as an athletic trainer, which is like a physical therapist specifically for athletes. I worked at University of Michigan and Mississippi State University, and then I spent 5 years at the Olympic Training Center in San Diego. I was the main medical provider for USA Track and Field. Getting a little winded from the exhales. So I traveled all over the world with about like 30, 35 Olympians. So we went to all of the Olympics over the last 12 years, World Championships. I worked for the Los Angeles Lakers for 2 years. Was with them when they won their NBA championship in 2020. I'm currently based in Athens, Greece. Work with a bunch of professional athletes there, and then do virtual appointments with people all over the world.
And what is your future Dominican thing?
Yeah, I have 2 projects. I talked about the nonprofit. So when I was with the Lakers, it was like, I'm using these skills to help people put a ball in a hoop. It's fun, but it's not super fulfilling. So I started the nonprofit based on the Southside of Chicago, where we teach yoga, meditation, body, like alignment, awareness things, spiritual philosophy, to underprivileged African American students, like very, very poor, disadvantaged people. We also take them on wellness retreats to get them out of their neighborhood because they're in like pretty shitty situations. They never left their neighborhood. So we do that, and part of that is we're building like a small scale version of GEV in the Dominican Republic. So, like retreat center, yoga studio. I do a lot of hands-on body work, more so than teach yoga. So a place for me to treat, and then permaculture farm, all the rest of it, and then we'll be able to bring people from the nonprofit to the land and host retreats. So when you guys want to do your yoga retreats, a lot of space for you.
I have a question.
Yeah, me.
For example, you said that sometimes we are like kind of compensating, no? So
Always, yeah.
yeah, always we are compensating. So how do I know where to focus on, like to see where is my pain? For example, if the problem is here, how do I know that I have to focus here? Maybe I'm not realizing that it's my knee or maybe it's my.
Yeah, so we did, like in my group, my first lesson, we did like a joint routine. So like taking each joint through its full range of motion, and you notice where things are stuck. You know, like if I can't like fully flex or straighten my knee, or if I can't get my knees way over my toes and have full ankle dorsiflexion, right? If that dorsiflexion is missing, something is gonna have to make up for that, right? So it's systematically checking the range of motion and the function of every joint. And then if things are lacking, like spend some time improving that. We like to do all of like the big, sexy movements, you know, like squats and deadlifts in the gym, or like wheel pose and lotus, and we like to do the asanas, but we don't have the tools to express that. Yoga is like it's an expression or a display of mobility. It's not how you build mobility. So we gotta
That's
go
why
through.
in Bihar School of Yoga, as I said earlier, go through the Pavan Muktasana series 1, 2, 3. Only about what you did the other day. First 3 to 4 months, they only make you do that.
And like go through that series with the yoga block too. Like that was like child's pose series. So do the same thing. Like have that compression, right? Have the compression here, have the compression here. You can still have like the idea of the yoga block where you're activating your abs here. Go through all of these things with that in mind.
And you didn't answer Daniela's question. She asked, what are you doing here?
Learning all of the spirituality and philosophy.
Makes sense.
Healing myself, being in the ashram and eating the food and stuff. And learning from him too. Like I resonate with everything he said, and to hear it said in a different way and through a different lens helps me to be able to communicate too.
Moral of the story, Daniela, learning never stops. Thank you.
Haribo!